Betty Lambert.
Boom.
Does it say it's live? Is it live?
It says live right there.
Now it says live. Good. How's everyone doing today? City Talk Fall River. It's been a while, Nikki.
It sure has.
Hi, Nikki.
Hi.
Derek is not with us today.
Sadly.
He's actually said he's going to be out for Teardrops Are Falling. He actually said he was going to be out for a little while. Yeah. He did say that.
Oh.
He did.
That breaks my heart.
But he might call in. And if you want to call in and talk to us, the number is 774-955-0533. I'm looking at my notes. I'm looking for my notes, and I'm not finding it. I actually watched the previous council meeting from December, or like the beginning of the year. Actually, it was the beginning of the year. And I took notes on that one. That was the one where we...
Look at all this paperwork you have over here.
This is the one where...
the home office.
The one where Linda Pereira had a lozenge stuck in her throat.
Yes. And she was choking on it, if I recall.
We had to break this down. We watched it real quick, but then we actually had to kind of pull up the film a little bit and break it down a little bit, because there was a lot more going on in that council meeting than just the Joe Camara, Linda Pereira arguing, you want to go look in the trash can. I threw out a cough drop and all that kind of stuff. There was, remember the wellness center. Like, if we're going to talk about like real politics stuff, like, instead, I love to laugh at the fact that there's nothing but a spectacle going on in the council chambers. However, there are some political topics worth talking about. And that wellness center kind of fell by the wayside a little bit. After that whole conversation occurred, everyone was only talking about that lozenge, piece. But the fact of the matter is, I still fully believe that we should not have a wellness center. I'm not.
Agreed.
I'm not backing that piece at all. I think that what we see, like a pattern that we keep on seeing in the council meetings, and Jazel Correa, believe it or not, actually went on the air and called out almost all the city councilors. On his show, the Sixth Floor Report.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He actually went on his show and started calling out Pam LeBeau, called out Cliff Ponte. I guess Pam LeBeau in the most previous meeting said something to the tune of, I'm just trying to do my job. As far as asking questions and doing due diligence and asking questions about the $30,000 that they want to transfer over for doing this campaign branding thing.
Yes.
And the pattern that keeps on developing is they say they support wanting to do the project, but they can't do it now because they don't have enough information. You've heard that before.
It's the same cycle we've heard.
Yes.
And I mean, we've heard this, you can rewind years already now, go back to former. Yes, we've heard the same thing. So maybe they're picking up that pattern from other councils, from older councilors or whoever. But particularly, Jazel Correa called out those two for saying that on a regular basis, and then he gave what I would say some insight into the matter by then taking it a step further and saying that I reach out to them all the time and try to inform them as much as I can. And then he says it's disingenuous for them to then wait until the council meeting to then say, I'm not getting what I need. I'm not getting what I need. And Jazel also said in the report that he was text messaging Cliff Ponte while the meeting was going on, while he was saying, I'm not getting enough information. He was texting him the information. And then Cliff says, I don't have anything. Yikes.
And Jazel laughed. He said, you actually are seeing him on the video looking at his phone when I sent the message. So I was very, very surprised at how deep this conversation ended up going for Jazel, because usually you don't hear this much detail. This is the equivalent, or maybe not the equivalent, because I don't think it was as juicy. But you remember when the microphone went off? during the recall election.
Oh, how could I forget? That's one of my favorite moments, Mr.
And-
Bob Correa.
Yeah, and
Oh,
Bob Correa
yes.
starts going off.
And it was, yes, he swore he called Flanagan an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, and he said he brought the mob to Fall River. That was the funniest thing.
Yep. So
I did get to listen to that. I was listening to that one live.
it wasn't as juicy as that, and it wasn't as authentic as Bob. Because Bob, you could tell that was just
Yeah, he didn't realize
Right.
the mic was on. Hot
But
mic.
but Jazel, I'm sure Jazel had a point that he wanted to make. He had an hour show on WSAR. He has it every Friday called the Sixth Floor Report. And Jazel just went and just went after councilors. Now he said about Pam LeBeau. He said Pam LeBeau. Every councilor takes an oath to basically serve the people of the city. And he said, you're not serving the people of the city if you're telling me that you haven't read the agenda yet.
Absolutely.
How can you tell me? How can you call me and tell me that you haven't read the agenda yet? And then go up there and say you're not getting all the information that you need. So he called out Pam in that context. I think he called out Cliff in the same context. He also called out another counselor. Do you have an idea of who he may have been calling out? Do you have an idea?
Well, if I had to guess, I
Yeah.
would probably say Rich.
Let's say money was on the table. Right now.
Yeah, Rich
Yes.
Cavaceres, I would have to say.
He and Jazel Correa actually called him a straight up obstructionist completely.
Well, he is.
Well, there you go.
But at the same time, now, did he call Ray Mitchell a straight up obstructionist as well?
He actually called out Ray Mitchell on that taxpayer lawsuit. I mean,
Did he?
really, yes.
Thank you. Good.
This
I'm
is-
glad.
This is a very, very interesting
I'm
sixth
definitely
floor report.
gonna have to listen to it.
Worth listening to
Yep.
on WSAR. It's on the podcast section of WSAR's website. So
Mhm.
unless they take it down, because guess what happened after Jazel went in on everybody?
Oh, I'm sure everybody was calling into all these shows, well, specific shows, because they call into specific shows to complain about what the mayor said.
Yeah.
They took it to the radio themselves.
I
Oh,
actually
man.
got a text message from somebody who said, "Hey, you're being called out by Counselor," and he didn't say
Oh, let me
Cavaceres.
get it. Wait, it had to have been. There's only two that do. It's
He didn't say
Cavaceres.
I would my name. I wasn't called out by name. Okay, he didn't. So the text message that was sent to me
All right.
said
I have to
that
listen to
he
it.
said that he made a comment about the new counselors who have declared as candidate or new candidates that have declared.
Mhm.
So I'm getting a message, and I guess what happened. The context is that Counselor Cavaceres said that Jazel Correa is only trying to discredit the current council because he's trying to make way for the new candidates that have declared that are gonna suck
I mean,
up to him.
that's you just take your records, guys. Sorry. You just take your records, your voting record, and everything that you guys have said since you sat on the chairs needs to speak for itself. And I think it will.
So he says that. So he implied that I or maybe Jason Springer, the two people who have officially declared that they're running again.
Oh, so he's knocking Jay too?
I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure because he didn't, because Councilor Cavaceres, like if I'm critical of Councilor Cavaceres, I'll say it. And I did call in and I did make my criticism. But when he makes the criticism, he's not really gonna call out anyone particularly. Because that would require backbone, I guess. I'm not sure.
So he's nice, nasty.
Yeah. But really, in all reality, I called in later on because I was at work and I was getting the messages, so I couldn't call in immediately. I called in to Rick Oliveira's show and he didn't hang up on me, which was nice. And I said to him that, hey, you had a counselor on during the news hour who said that the new candidates are sucking up to the mayor and everything like that. And I took exception to that. And the reason why I take exception to that is because I'm not here for personal gain. That's him projecting because that's what he's there for. I'm not there for personal gain. I'm not there for an ego stroke. I don't care if the mayor disagrees with me or not. Stroke, I got it. I'm not there for
No,
that.
I'm
You know what I
when
mean?
you said it, I'm thinking if you were, I would seriously be, because I've known you for so long,
Yeah.
it would be easy for me
To call, yeah,
to slap you. Like I would
Yeah.
probably be like,
Right.
really? Like that's just so.
right. But I said immediately to them that I'm here to try to help the city. I'm not here for any other personal gain. So sucking up to the mayor means nothing to me. If the mayor has a project that I like, that I care about, I'm going to jump in on it. If he has a project that I don't like, that I think is wasteful, guess what? Like the wellness center. Hello.
What does sucking up to the mayor do?
Well, I think that we've seen Leo Pelletier and Pat Casey.
But I don't think they suck up to the mayor. I think that's more suck up to everybody.
Whatever's popular?
Yes.
Whatever's popular? Okay.
Because I mean, let's face it, Pat and Leo will roll with whoever was the mayor. It wasn't specifically the person. They're just going to go with whatever the mayor wants.
Right.
And that's that.
Right.
But here with the newer ones, you can see how they pick and choose who they support and at what times.
Yep.
Because I've watched, several say good and bad things, and then at different times. So I don't know. So
the ongoing narrative that seems to have, just keeps on going is I am not against this program, but I need more information before I can do anything. So we're going to table this, or we're going to refer, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. But there's not a level of indecisiveness. Okay. There's not a level of decisiveness, I should say.
Okay, but do you think that maybe could be because the people, if they are even reading the information, maybe they don't understand the information that's being given to them?
It's possible.
So maybe that's why they're saying I didn't get the information. Like maybe it is, and they
like
just
they didn't
don't know
get
how
the
to
joke.
read it.
Like they didn't get the joke.
Well, basically, like because
so they're told the information, but they're not understanding it. So they're saying they're not getting it.
How many times have I said, like, I don't know certain things you read? It's mumbo jumbo to me until I look into it and I talk to other people and figure it out. But maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're just not grasping.
He stated that it was grandstanding. He felt as though it was more grandstanding than anything. Just an opportunity to try to play the middle, an opportunity to, whoever doesn't like the mayor's programs, they can appeal to that side. And then whoever does like the mayor's programs, they can try to appeal to that side.
Well, I like when they ask for more information, but if they're receiving the information and then claiming they're not, then that's a little bit different.
And how are we supposed to know? Like me, Trot Joseph Lee, I don't know this. I don't know that the councilors don't have this information. There was one time, you remember that one?
Of course, I'll never
You remember
forget.
that one time when I knew they had the information,
yeah,
and then Ray Mitchell was acting like he didn't have the information, and I came forward with that.
It does happen.
Yes, it has happened, absolutely. And I'm not saying because remembering that whole situation, Ray Mitchell was saying that he didn't have the numbers to support them going with the private hauling contract and for sanitation. And I knew that they did have the numbers because I had the numbers in my hand. And I knew that they would pass out the numbers, but they would pass out the numbers at a later time during the council meeting. And that was Pamela Bowe posted on my wall and said that as well. And I said, fine. But to say he didn't have it at all was disingenuous. Completely. And then to go on the radio the next day. That's what
the issue was.
And then go on the radio and then cater to the callers who were like, this kid, I don't know.
Okay, but then,
this kid, I don't know. And he's like, yeah, well, with experience comes performance, all that.
And when I called, he still didn't have the information.
Right.
So it's just that.
So that game that was being played last year during the contract, the hauling contract, could have been played again when it comes to the wellness center, when it comes to landscapes, when it comes to not landscapes, streetscapes, when it comes to
transfer station, when it comes to every little thing they do.
And in this case, the most recent council meeting, it was about the branding, the marketing of Fall River. And again, some disingenuousness is occurring. Linda Pereira said that, hey, we can't even use this slogan because the slogan's already been taken. I remember hearing about that slogan being taken the day of. Everyone said it, that yes, the slogan's taken, but they can still use it as long as they don't do whatever XYZ that imposes. It was with the banks, right? As long as it doesn't impose on the other business of whatever whoever holds that other slogan. We all knew this, but here we are in a council meeting, getting to hear 7 to 8 minutes worth of, we don't know what this administration's doing, and right
over a slogan.
Yes. Now, I'm going to state my position on this.
How about we don't have one at all?
That's what I say.
Fall River.
There it is. Come on in.
Fall River.
That's it.
We got good food.
Do or do not. There is no try. Has that been used before? I'm not sure. But here's the thing, like, so in my opinion, I would not even entertain the thought of having a slogan or having a branding or anything like that.
If it's going to do all this, like, I just don't understand it all.
Thank you.
I don't understand it all. It's arguments. So you know what that says to me?
Yes.
Again, just because of everything we've learned, if they're arguing about a slogan, folks,
Yes.
there's something else that they don't want us to know.
But here's the pattern. I'm going to get back to that, Mrs. Mystery Sleuth. But the pattern is, oh, we do support the branding of Fall River. Yeah. We totally support the branding of Fall River, but we need to know where this $10,000 going. We need to know.
Now, you know what I would say when somebody said that to me? I would say, what is your definition of branding Fall River?
Right.
And then you go by whatever they would say, because, like, again, maybe they don't understand what branding Fall River is.
Well, I'm sure there's 9 different opinions up there.
Right.
Although Stephen Long was very upset because Stephen Long was in the committee that was doing the branding.
I know, I did read.
Yeah.
Somebody
and Stephen Long was very upset. I mean, he was very upset, and he was like, all you guys out there that are being critical don't even know half the details of what was going on in those meetings. You don't know everything, but you're sitting up here and waiting for these council meetings to act like you know everything. Like, he was upset. Visibly. I would vote against the branding process altogether. I don't think that Fall River is in a position to pay for advertising right now.
Not right now.
Right.
I just don't think we have much to advertise at this point.
However, Jazel Correa wants to run Fall River as a company, as a business.
Yep.
And if you're running a business, you want to get the advertising out there. But I don't believe
but the first thing you have to do when you're running a business is make sure your employees are taken care of.
Well, there you go.
So when you think of, so if you want to brand Fall River as a business, you need to make sure us residents,
the taxpayers,
are taken care of. And that's the issue.
But here's the funny part, Nikki. We don't work for them.
No,
we don't work
for us.
Yes, we don't work for the company. So the company that Jazel wants to run
we own it.
is shared. Right. It's a shareholder. You know what I'm saying? So we actually don't. You can't run Fall River like a business. Is my point. That I would argue with Jazel about running Fall River as a business, because the concept of running the city as a business means that your number one goal as a business is to make profit. Yeah. Thank you. And guess what? If a business can't generate profit, it doesn't have the option to dig into the pockets of a bunch of other people.
Right.
Guess what it does? It goes under, and hopefully somebody else takes over it. That's why you don't want to run your country, your city like a business. You can't do that. It's not going to work.
For me, when they talk about branding Fall River, I think it is a good idea, but not now. And the reason I say that is because there are only so many things that you can brand in the city. And I love Fall River. I am old school. My family's been here forever.
Yep.
It's in my heart. It really is. If we're not happy here, if we're finding there are issues, the branding piece is to get other people to come in.
Right.
I need you to make sure that we're okay before you're bringing anybody else into our house. Our house has to be taken care of.
Yep.
Which is great, because, and that's the UMass Dartmouth housing survey thing that they did.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to look at that. Check out the information on that.
Because it's an inclusive conversation.
It is, yes. And the thing is, it was done a while ago. And when you look at the stakeholders, they're all listed. And it's, Jazel's on there, Sam Sutter is on there, Rob Mellion's on there. So it's really all the people that we're constantly hearing on the radio and things. So when you read the report and all of the information that the investigation or research has done, it makes you cringe, because we have such a large amount of our residents that are in housing. They're low income. We're way below the poverty level here.
Right.
So when I see all that information and then I hear, $30,000 for branding, I'm thinking we need to invest that $30,000 into our house, our homes. So like, you have a resident who's been here for so long who maybe can't afford to fix up things in his house.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see that $30,000 go toward. I don't need to hear what a new slogan, it's made here, it's made here. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I know how great Fall River is.
Right.
I don't need anybody else coming in to try to tell me my city sucky. It's the roads are bad, because trust me, that's what all these tourists say.
Yep.
We have good food. That's about what we hear, but they're not coming in and spending the money that they're talking about. Like, I just don't see that.
No.
We don't have shops that people can go shopping at.
Right.
We don't have all these things. So you invest in your neighborhoods, in the people. And I don't mean invest neighborhoods by picking certain streets.
Right.
You go to the people who are paying their taxes and you see if they need help.
Yep.
It's not you digging into their pocket so that you can bring people from out of town into the town.
Yeah.
It really bothers me.
Yeah.
You know, I watched a lot of my family members, and there's a lot of other people like me whose grandfathers, you know, built their stone walls outside of their homes, and they just don't have the money right now to pay for those things to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot what the percentage of housing was in Fall River, but the majority of it was built prior to 1940, I believe was the year. All of the houses, they're so old.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You know, you got to start at home. You got to fix your own home first.
Let's see. Okay, never mind. We're good. Just was looking at something real quick.
Oh,
I want to get back to this council meeting real quick, just because no, it's actually going to be cutting out in a minute. I want to get back to this council meeting real quick, just because I want to stick with what we were talking about as far as this pattern goes of I support something, but I need more information, right?
Mhm.
So they needed more information about this branding thing. And again, I don't feel as though we should have a branding thing. I think that we need to, again, just like we just talked about, we need to make sure that our house is stable before we can start to invest in that kind of thing. And that's based on me not thinking like the mayor thinks that we should run our city like a business. I think that we should run our city like a democracy. That's what I think, because that's the system that we're supposed to actually be in. At any rate, the branding, the situation that they were upset about was they thought they approved the whole process, and then Jazel needed a transfer of $30,000. I don't have all the details. I didn't read the agenda myself, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I knew all the information, or I'm not going to act like somebody didn't give me all the information. But that's what they were trying to get. They were trying to get this transfer, and it came with at least an hour and a half worth of grandstanding with amongst the entire process. They've already approved that he's going to go with this marketing thing. So Councilor Long's position was, hey, let him carry out what he's trying to carry out. If it's not successful, we'll call him out on it. But don't obstruct him from trying to carry it out. Give him the money that we've all agreed he's going to invest into this program, and let's move on. What are we doing? And again, I don't agree with the branding process. However, I agree with Long. If you guys, if they already approved this process to go through, allow the mayor to go through with it.
So why didn't they? Everything should have all been asked back then.
Yes.
It's like I feel like it's such a merry-go-round.
There you go. There was another beef. That they had with Jazel Correa. And actually, I think it was Cliff Ponte that went on the NewsHour on the 12th. And that actually is in the website. For some reason or other, the Councilor Cabaceres conversation was not on the website last night. And I was looking for it because I wanted to hear exactly what was said. But it wasn't posted. So it's a very unfortunate situation. At any rate, Councilor Ponte said that he was upset, or he expressed that he was upset that they disapproved of a raise or salary increase for Faust Fiore.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jazel used his own powers because he had the power to do a stipend, and he got the $5,000 stipend to Faust Fiore.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, Faust got a raise. And Jazel justified, or tried to justify it on his show by saying, hey, we've expanded the position that Sam Sutter created, the media relations position. And we've expanded the duties, and in the process of expanding those duties, we wanted to pay him accordingly. I'm just paraphrasing, but that's basically how he went about it.
he talked about all the different aspects and all that kind of stuff. But then he said, I felt as though because he's going to be doing all these tasks that he should
What
be.
tasks?
Oh, you're gonna have to listen to the show because I didn't go through the whole process.
Man.
I didn't go through the whole process.
It's so annoying. We all heard Faust loud and clear before he was getting paid that $5,000. I don't think we're gonna hear him any louder with it.
And here's another thing. The Faust. They said that Faust is saving us money by taking the $5,000 stipend, because if you would have had to hire a whole new person to do all that stuff, it would have been more expensive.
Okay, I'm not gonna get upset. I'm not gonna. I am breathing heavy,
You're
but
good?
I'm not gonna.
That's what Jazel
I'm
said.
going to hold it until I actually hear it. I need to hear it.
Jazel said it's actually
Remind
saving the
myself I
city
need to
money.
hear it first.
Okay, I'm just saying that's what he said. So, so they were upset about that. Now, here's my issue. It's perfectly fine to be upset about this. Okay.
But he can do it.
Thank you.
So again, okay, as I've been saying for the last 2+ years, okay, our ordinances mean zero. They need to be gone through with a fine-tooth comb.
Well, you should listen to Councilor Ponte do that interview on the 12th, because he talked about how proud he was that he was able to be a part of the committee that cleaned up a lot of ordinance problems. He said that.
I would have to see all the I haven't watched the last couple of meetings, so I don't know which ones have been changed.
He said that. He said
So
he's
again,
very
I can't
proud
judge,
of the work. It was a lot of hard work, and there was
a ton of things in there that were contradictory to one another. It was
here's my issue. Here's my issue. I don't like the grandstanding. You know that. I hate it. It's the worst thing. Because it's a waste of everybody's time and money, and I hate it to death. But that's all we see in most council meetings is the grandstanding. I don't even care that you have a big ego with like that you need to be in the spotlight, you need to shake everybody's hand, you need to be in parades. Like, that's fine that you do all right. You can do that. Can you not do that on like the taxpayer's dime? No. Can you just like go and do that without being like in charge of city decisions? Like, that's what bothers me. Yes.
No, I keep saying we need to have a B team.
Yes.
There needs to be an A team, city councilors, and then there could be a B
team. Can we
get
get people that really want to do the work? And then whoever wants to do like all the showboat stuff, go do that somewhere. It's really bothersome. It bothers me.
That much?
Yes.
See, I don't really. To me, I'm like, okay, there you go. That's the show, you know? Some people are going to be okay with it. Yeah. Some people aren't.
So, at any rate, it was just a problem for me. The beef that they were having. So at the other council meeting, the beef that they were having with Linda Pereira and Joe Camaro.
Is this the cough drop situation?
So if I'm not mistaken, Linda wanted to know a couple of things about this. It was basically item 24, a street opening to give natural gas. There was I think that they just needed to do some type of project to give these people natural gas. Linda wanted to know if it was new homes or not, to see if they were converting to oil and heat. That's what some of the questions she asked. Okay. For some reason or another, while they were going through that whole process, she got up in the middle of the voting, like literally right in the middle of the voting, and went to the back, spit out the alleged cough drop, which I'm sure
the alleged cough drop. It was a real cough drop.
The cough drop in question. I know. I'm having fun. I'm having some fun. I'm having some fun with it. But no, true. So I'm sure there was a cough drop being spit, but she waited until, or it seemed as though she waited until.
It was perfect timing.
Right, because of all it was. If you look at the sequence of events, the questions she was asking a lot of questions. She had concerns, and then she got up and went. And while it was going on, she didn't come back and say, "Hey, I missed this." She didn't.
I would have been if I really wanted to vote on
it. Right. It was almost like they at the right exact time. Yeah. So then, Counselor, and you saw this. We all kind of broke this video down in the last show, episode 62. If anybody's listening, they want to listen to that.
I actually went off a lot on that episode. I was kind of, my sarcasm meter was off the charts on that one. But at any rate, if anyone wants to listen to that, we actually broke down that whole piece where Linda was yelling at Joe, and Joe was like, "Hey, look, I'm not saying you're a coward, but I'm just saying." Like, he was kind of on that note. I never seen this before in my life. I never seen a counselor get up in the middle of voting.
It was a little weird. I mean, even
Yeah.
it threw me off
When I broke down the
oh.
film, it looked odd to me.
And that is one of the things that bothers me, actually. As you know, I've pointed out several times which ordinances our city councilors are breaking when they do certain things,
Right.
when they're not there, when they're late, things like that. And so with that, it's just a little crazy to me that
Yes.
the way the whole thing, the way it happened, the fact that she got up, it wasn't like, hang on a second, I'm coming right back. And then even the way Allison, when she said their names, when she called on them, it was rather quickly, like she knew she was, that Linda wasn't voting.
It was weird. You never see it. And he's right. Joe's right. You never see
Just
it.
for those listening, I'm not saying that Allison was in on it. What I'm saying is she recognized the fact that Linda wasn't voting, and she said, I'm not wasting my time here, and went on.
Ponte, that's it. Like, just move on. So that happened. And then I had an issue. I just took issue more with Sean Kadim than I did the councilors who were beefing at that point in time, because he was elected. If I remember correctly, he was elected council president the first time around because there was so much chaos and I'm going alleged on that one, chaos in the council chambers with old ladies, dangerous old ladies clapping.
They're vicious.
Come on, right? Are we being serious? So we need police officers. Now, I got into not an argument, I would say a disagreement with someone just recently, whether or not there was 4 or 5 cops in the building.
It was 5. Right?
I believe there was 5. There was 4 in the council chambers, and then there was 1 outside the door. That's what I saw. That's what I remember seeing. I remember having a conversation with the one that was outside the door. I said, "Are you guys being like told to do this? Like, what is going on?" And he just gave me the stone face. He was like, "Man, I can't talk about it." I'm like, this is like the most messed up thing in the world, right? At any rate, Sean wasted resources on the clapping of hands in council chambers. I remember sitting in the council chambers watching these 4 police officers standing like sentinels in the 4 corners of the room and seeing a cop car driving down the street. Which side? You like that? Like, yeah, sentinels. Driving down the street. And I'm like, wow, they could probably use some resources over there. Right? I was so angry. I'm still angry about it. It's not really funny. I know we joke. It's not funny. And that's your council president doing that. And I was mad as hell when Joe Camara went with did that whole tango with Mike De Oliveira. Necessary media. Exactly. I remember that whole tango, and I was mad at Joe for that too. I just want people who are in positions of these, of this level of authority to actually be responsible with it. And it's sad.
Be real, folks. That's all. Just be real. I really I wasn't even thinking about George just then, but thank you for pointing it out. Like, really,
it's his son's birthday.
They don't even. It's that's the thing that bothers me the most. I say, like, they sit there and they act like, oh, we're for the property owner, we're for the taxpayers, but at the same time, not one of them batted an eye when Jazel said he was going to have the trash carts removed if a tenant didn't buy a purple bag. That, to me, listen, whether you like purple bags or not, every single counselor should have stood up and said, there is no way we're allowing you to do that to the taxpayer.
If our co-host Derek Morgado is listening, it's 38 minutes into the show. Actually, it's probably less than 38 because we started late. I would say about 36 minutes into the show, we mentioned purple bags.
Were you guys timing me? Because it wasn't necessarily about purple bags.
I know.
It was more about our counselors pretending that they're for the taxpayer.
Just having some fun.
You have your fun, buddy.
Yes, I will. Because I know that you do too. Now, so then this council meeting, I mean, there was a lot going on, but one of the major pieces of that first council meeting with the lozenge was that the support of the wellness center.
Joe, I believe it was Steve Camara that mentioned that this wellness center could be a crown jewel or a jewel of the city or something to that nature, where other businesses can come in and say, "Hey, wow, you
Other
have
businesses?
Yes.
Okay.
businesses from out of town will come in and say that are looking to invest in Fall River will say,
Just
wow."
because you have a wellness center for your employees?
Right, that's exactly what he said.
What the hell?
He said that. He said, "Wow," and he actually like quotation marks. "Wow, you actually have a wellness center that takes care of your government employees." I'm thinking, I'm not investing here. It means that you're more invested in putting money in your own government, circulation than in the private sector. That's what I would say, right?
Yeah. Well, you don't even want to know when they say wellness center to me, and to hear counselors, like I could picture it being around. There's a sauna. You got a couple of them walking around their towels around their waist, and they go in there with their friends, and they're in the sauna, and then they come get
clearly reading the agenda for
massage and insane. Yeah.
Yes, clearly
They don't want to
reading the
violate
agenda.
anything,
No.
so they don't want to violate any open meeting laws.
Oh, that was another actual thing that was brought up. I guess when they were at a restaurant or something like that, there was a report that there was improper, an improper meeting for the counselors. Like they were breaking open meeting laws and stuff like that. And I guess it got brought up in conversation, and Councilor Cabaceres was very upset about it.
So he
He's
must
like-
have been at the dinner.
No. I don't think he was there, but he was angry at the fact that he's like, these laws need to be changed. These laws need to be changed.
Well, I agree with him there. Most of them are antiquated as it is.
Mhm.
However, there are certain reasons for the meeting laws to be in play. So I think maybe we're okay. Maybe we can look into that. I don't think we should be saying it's okay for a group of counselors to meet on the outside. To me, it should be official. I don't know. That gets tricky. That muddies water. And
I
stuff.
just know that there are people out there like Pat Higgins, CJ Ferry, and maybe a handful of other people that are on the watch, on the prowl for those open meeting laws.
Yeah, see, I care more about the taxpayer getting beaten than I do about an open meeting violation, which, by the way, all ends up happening is, oh, you violated the law, you can't do that. Okay.
Whistleblowers.
Which I like that. They can do that. I'm just not, that's not me. I'm in a different,
It's a big deal.
I fight in a different way.
It's a big deal in America nowadays?
What?
Fake news. It's a very profitable situation. I think that we have a very talented fake news reporter going on right now. His name's Noah Vincelette. Has anyone read? If you haven't read any good fake news lately, go to South Coast Independent Radio. He's just taking fake news to a whole new level because this person, Noah, is insanely talented.
Such a modern day typewriter.
He's insanely talented. Absolutely talented. Goes through he doesn't just go through the motions when he puts together a project.
Yes, that I see.
He puts work into this.
But I love that he does it because he's proven that it clearly
Remember,
has an effect.
Remember, this is not real, okay? And I'm saying this right off the jump.
Say it again,
Yes, this is not real.
I don't even like reading it.
Fall River, beginning in September, city employees and their families will have access to the latest technology at the new Public Technology Center. The Public Technology Center, which is the brainchild of tech-savvy City Council member Ray Mitchell, will be available to present and past municipal employees between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. 5 days a week. We wanted to give our hardworking employees a place to type letters and send telefaxes. A telefax will allow you to send a document to someone on the other side of the world in just a few minutes, as opposed to sending a letter through the mail. We just signed a 10-year contract with a vendor that will allow us to provide this service to our people for about $3 a page. Pay as you write, pay as you type. According to Councilor Cabaceres, the telefax, known in technology circles as a fax, could potentially save city workers millions of dollars in postage. It's making me laugh.
It's fake, guys.
Hey, there were people
there were people posting on this wall who were very angry at this. Like, what
And
kind
they
of
thought it was
investment
real.
is
See,
this?
I feel bad. I don't
Yeah?
know. You know, to me, it's cool to post it as long as you post and say that it's not a real story.
$3 a page? That's something special right there. I'm sorry, that is. He's thinking of new innovative ways to raise revenue. Hello? Right? Isn't that what your government's supposed to do? Figure out how to raise. Wait till you see some of these other candidates that come out talking about, oh, these guys have no ideas how to raise revenue. Oh, you do. Let's figure it out. Let's figure out how you're going to raise revenue.
You know how I feel about that.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Watch it happen. Watch it happen. So Jazel Correa comes out and calls out everybody. What do you feel about that? What do you feel about a mayor like bringing it to the public stage like that?
Okay, well, I do love that. I'm not gonna lie. I'd be lying if I said I didn't. I do appreciate it, but if it's done disrespectfully, I don't. I don't like disrespect. I don't like when people disrespect each other, and I think that's a lot of the times, and for the last few years, what's happened with our counselors and our mayor. It's a back and forth of disrespect for each other, for the office, for the people, for taxpayers. I just, it's a mess.
Mhm.
So a part of me understands why he did it,
Mhm.
because even the article that I read, he wasn't getting they weren't getting the information or what have you.
Mhm.
If that's not true,
There's
Come
a
on,
school
say
of
it.
thought that the mayor, for some reason or another,
but then we're just going to see an argument. What's at the
Yeah.
end of that?
there's a school of thought that the mayor should be the one that sort of doesn't engage in such things.
Nah, I don't believe in that.
Right.
Nope, you're the mayor. Speak up.
So when you're seeing counselors squabbling over cough drops, when you see counselors squabbling,
The
back and
cough drop
forth,
thing was crazy.
right, going back and forth, squabbling about this, that, and the other, there's a culture of people trying to one up each other. There's just a culture of that.
Oh, you can see that already, because just if there are people who are already knocking down people who are going to run for city council in the
Mhm.
next election,
Right.
that to me already says
Self-preservation.
whoever is bringing it up is obviously worried
Mm.
about the newbies, that they're already trying to put them in a negative light.
Yep.
So that's
So you're gonna
good
have
job.
and see. So I kind of know how this Council of Cabeceras thing is going to go. He's going to repeat himself. That's what he does. He repeats. So he tries to drill things in your head. So I'm feeling that he'll eventually start to say that, like, the new councilors are suck ups, or you
Yeah,
suck
but
up to the mayor, you suck up to the mayor.
You know, the thing that's going to be different about this year's election, though,
Mhm.
is because there are people who partnered with
Yes.
the older
Yep.
city councilors.
Mhm.
You could clearly see that in the way that they supported each other.
Well, think about it. I mean, who tried to rub shoulders with every politician in the city more than he? He rode coattails all the way up and down the line. You know what I mean? I mean, that's what he did. He took a picture with every
Well, I
single
think a lot of
politician in the
people
city.
who ran, I think a lot of the people who ran did that. Not just the ones who got elected, but I think a lot of people, you pick and choose, which is why
They
it's
try to
so
associate themselves.
So that's why
Right.
when I already hear somebody is already having
Mhm.
fundraisers, that to me is why
Yeah,
it's such a
red flag.
negative. Because if you're already doing it this far in advance,
Yeah.
then why trying to raise money so much? It's just
the
I know,
other piece too to this, and I just seen a text message from my friend. Hi, friend. I'll be reading that.
friend.
I'll be reading that in a second. But no, and then you look at the fact that, like, for me, like, who have I been most associated with?
Me,
No, not you.
not me.
Nope, not you.
But I tell you what to say. I
That's just
told you
one.
what to
That's
say.
just one failed school of thought. I'm talking about who do people normally tag my name in with when they talk about the new councilors or new candidates? Come on, this isn't rocket science.
Honestly, I don't know.
Josh and Jordan.
Oh well.
Yes, it's so commonplace that you didn't even
But
think
no,
of it. Right?
because to me, I don't lob you guys in. You're all
Mhm.
different. Like that.
See, I know we're different. I know we're different from each other, but we're still friends with
Yeah.
each other. And also, I know that we have me
But
and
it's all
Josh,
different, but you're all
Yeah.
different. Like
Yeah.
that's
we all come from different like thoughts, you know what I mean? Or we have different ideas as to what to do, or we have different philosophies, maybe, definitely different approaches,
Mhm.
right? So, but that's not how the public overall sees us. Whenever they say, we need some new blood in the city council, and my name comes up, or Josh's name comes up, we all end up in the same group. Scott's name has been thrown into that now, Scott Donnelly. Right. So to me, sometimes it's just perception that puts you in the same boat as everybody else. So therefore, if Jordan goes on Throw Up and Fall River and calls somebody a bunch of names and this, that, and the other, like, people are talking to me about it. Like, I'm supposed to do something about it.
But that's on them, though.
You know what I mean?
That to
Right.
me, when you're not, it's not like you ran a campaign where you guys were all running together. It
Right.
was all different entities and
But I'm supposed
Things like
to,
that.
but for some reason, I'm supposed to be like involved in this conversation of Jordan acting a certain kind of way, or say Josh supported Donald Trump, right? So people who don't support Donald Trump, like, oh my God, I can't believe Josh. Like, Josh is allowed to think what he wants to think, and you know what I mean. Like, me and Josh have had many arguments about the Trump thing, you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, like, we are different people, and when you see politicians running together, they're representing each other. Dan Rigo, he was with Linda Pereira at every turn. So you knew if whatever Linda was voting, Dan was voting. We actually literally saw Ray Mitchell have no clue what was going on. And Linda just leans over to him and says, yes.
yeah.
And then he votes yes. He did not know what he was doing at that moment in time.
So embarrassing. So like right there is the perfect example of why we shouldn't spend $30,000 on branding. We are going to have people come into the city and see that.
Thank you.
Really?
Oh, but no. The people clapping is worse.
It's something to call meetings
Yes.
on.
Yes.
It's something.
Yes.
Yes. That's
to
that's
disrupt
fabulous.
the flow
Yes.
of the whole thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
People, please.
All right. So open meeting laws.
Please.
What about ethics violations? The mayor did mention that Pam works for Cliff. Oh yeah, that's right. That is right. In the 6th floor report with what?
No, go ahead.
Oh, in the 6th floor report
Mhm.
with Jazel, he mentioned that Pam works for Cliff Ponte.
He didn't.
He
Do
did.
you know that months ago somebody told me that was going to happen? Probably maybe 6 months ago, I was told
What, that Jazel was going to say something?
No,
That
that
Pam was going to be
Pam
working
was
there?
going to work for Cliff.
Yeah, I mean,
I was confused by it too.
I saw her post that she, passed the exam to become a realtor.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, and I was told too early on that she was going to work at the same facility as Cliff. I didn't understand that he was the boss though. I didn't know that part. I thought that maybe they were colleagues but not boss. It's a little different, I guess. But I don't think that Cliff. I mean, I'd be very surprised because I think that Pam would stand up for herself if Cliff was ever hanging on something over her head.
Well, that's just I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anything's possible. Look at the election with the presidential election. We've seen crazy and so I'm not.
But
and in my time here, I've seen mayors go meet people down by the waterfront.
You did?
So I'm just taking air out of tires.
This
Big
is interesting.
scissors,
This is interesting. Tell me more about this waterfront business.
Big
happened?
scissors.
Big. Oh, that's right. Yak. Andrew Yak.
Do you remember the big
Yeah.
scissors?
Andrew Yak stole the scissors from Will Flanagan's car, and it was all in the newspaper.
Didn't he chase him?
He chased him down the street with it. But clapping in city council chambers is what's going to stop people from coming forward.
Right. Not the mayor with big scissors.
Not the mayor. The mayor didn't chase. The mayor got chased.
No, the mayor had a gun. Sorry.
Yeah. There you go.
Not a big pair of scissors. He had a gun.
Oh,
He's got
man.
a gun.
He's not coming back. I thought he was. You know what? I'd say about a month ago or two. I'd say about 2 months ago, I was ready.
Pot's legal. He ain't coming back. If pot
Right.
didn't become legal, he might have thought about it.
He's
but
got a
pot's
very-
legal, he's all over it.
He's got a very interesting situation
Lucrative
going on.
career.
Yes. He's Snoop
Lazy
Dogg.
cakes,
He's
napkins.
He's the Snoop Dogg of lawyers now. Quote me on that, guys. That's great.
Well, he did bring them off to Fall River. Bob Correa said that.
That's great. But no, I don't think he's going to run. And no reason why I don't think he's going to run is because who the mayor is. They're going to, if he's the mayor, if he runs against Jazel for the mayor
Oh God.
seat, it's going to bring back all of 2013 and 14. It's going to bring it all back. Hey, and maybe Andrew Farrier will come back with
He wouldn't
freedom
run
media.
against Jazel. That would be silly.
Maybe.
No, that would. Everybody would bring up the gun.
Do you know who I would love to see though on display on social media all the time if Flanagan comes back into the game? I mean, like, come on, bring back all the oldies but goodies. Gene, Bergeron, all those guys, bring them all back.
They slowly. Well, Gene's there.
Oh, Mike.
Who?
Mike. You know who I'm talking about.
But see, I didn't read a lot of that stuff though because I'm not one. Like I don't.
Bring it all back. That's all I'm
I
saying.
No, like I don't care too much about
He's not
when
running
people
again.
say
No.
negative things.
He's
I
not.
don't
He's
listen.
not running again. He can't. There's no way. Because really, what it comes down to is the Paul De Silva
Well, he
factor.
could, but he's just gonna make more money because pot's legal now.
But that Paul De Silva factor of like sneaking around and
He
finding
was so slimy.
and finding addresses for people like at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
See, and that's why I.
If
I
people
received-
really ignore that just to put him back into the mayoral seat, I have no clue what people.
I was
what people
told
are
that
thinking.
Flanagan would sit down with me and
Yeah.
talk with me in an
Yep.
interview a long time ago. And
Yep.
remember, I said no because I couldn't sit down with anybody who could do the things that he did. I just thought, just his character alone, I don't have to agree on policy with you to
Yep.
sit down with you.
Yep.
But if your character is that shitty, I'm not
Right.
into it.
No thanks. No thanks. You like.
Like you,
Yeah.
and it's so funny because I won't even shake hands. Like I'll walk right by. So here's the thing: if you ever see me out and I slide by you, I don't say hello.
We can't forget
Just
that
don't.
he almost put somebody in jail.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
Yeah,
Like,
the whole thing was just
he
so
almost succeeded in abusing his power to try to put somebody in jail. So to me, like, you got to remember that part. And Jazel, I believe, got pulled over a couple of times while he was a city councilor. If you
Remember, he was
that.
texting and driving, wasn't he?
Yeah. But actually, Jazel pulled over and texted.
I know.
And then kept driving
I know.
after. So like he didn't get in trouble for that. Like he couldn't. But they were watching him.
Mhm.
And it's not. There was just so many problems. And it's interesting that Racine stepped down as Jazel became the mayor. I wonder if there was a conflict of personalities there. Because Racine's not old. Chief Racine's not old.
I think the more it might not just be the one position. I think there's probably a lot of things that we don't know.
Chief Racine was not old, and he was very, very respected.
I'm not. When I say
by his
old, I don't
place.
mean it like that. What I think is there was a time where there were certain people
Mhm.
who ran Fall River.
Yeah.
And I think there were a lot of shady things that happened.
Maybe a couple.
And I think now we have different people in different positions, so many different people, in fact, that people are trying to get out early because they know that eventually it's going to come to a head. Think
So,
about
like,
how
winter
many
is coming?
people have taken, I don't know what you mean by winter is coming.
Game of Thrones.
Oh,
Keep
see, I
going.
don't watch
Keep
it.
going. Keep going.
But that's just that I think they see that. And I said that a long time ago. The only thing that makes me think Kadeem didn't know much or it was out of his hands with the whole window gate situation is because of how vocal he's been about it.
Mhm.
Where everybody else is kind of slithered away,
Yes.
he hasn't.
Yeah, he's
He's in your face.
Yeah.
And how many times have I said that? I'm waiting for him to throw the fingers to Fall
So-
River. I feel like he's going to.
See, the winter is coming.
Oh, yes.
That just means like a storm is brewing. Something is on the way. So that's what you're saying is that people are kind of clearing out a little bit
Yeah,
because something is brewing. I think
Or
that
something would. Like maybe there is something that
I think that Sam Sutter opened up the books. That was one of the good things that Sam Sutter did during his mayoral tenure.
he opened up the books, closed them, and got out of Dodge.
Right, but he opened up the books first, and that initial piece was very helpful to a lot of me, particularly, and I know us. Yeah, personally, yeah.
It could have been it might not have necessarily been because of Sam Sutter himself. It could have been whoever was elected as mayor after Flanagan
Was going to have to open up.
was
those
going
books.
to have
Right.
to open up.
But
books.
bottom line, he did it.
Yeah.
I'm giving him credit. I'm just giving him credit because I that I've been very critical of Sam Sutter. As a mayor, I just didn't think he
really
fit.
wasn't the mayor.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I just don't feel like he fit. I don't think he was a good fit for the mayor because I don't think he was in touch with the city as much as a mayor should be.
Right.
But I do give him credit for the opening of the books because that opened up the doors, it justified a lot of things that 2013 and 14 were all about.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the mismanagement of funds and the fact that we were like barely skating by on anything. And the pay-as-you-throw system wasn't helping, and Flanagan really banked on that as being the quintessential, turnaround, the financial turnaround. And it wasn't just him. I believe that his cohorts, his two cohorts, also believed that as well. And when it didn't work out, like he just basically was like dancing in place and just dodging until finally he got knocked out and he got recalled. But as far as Sam Sutter goes, him opening up the books was a good thing for the city. And I think that was probably a piece to that of what you're talking about, if something is coming.
Yeah.
But Sam, very likely, if he did see some things that were like, whoa, this is crooked or this is not right, if he did see that, we didn't get a chance to hear about that.
Right.
You know what I mean? We didn't get a chance to hear about that. We just got it's bad and we're going to try and fix it. We didn't really get to the details as to why we were in such a bad financial situation. When we were told just by Sean Kadim when he was the city administrator that we were in great financial condition.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that wasn't too long ago. That wasn't very long ago from the time that Sam opened up those books, especially in political years. It wasn't very long ago. So we really, really, really were in very bad shape. And I think that at least the good thing that came out of Sam Sutter's mayoral seat is that we got to find out, we got a reality check financially. Now his solutions, we got a check of reality. And then, and now we're in a situation where we have the mayor had no clue how to get us out of it. He just figured, hey, we'll just raise more on people and knock it all out. And now people are saying that Jazel raised more. Okay. He raised taxes. He did.
Okay, but I can't argue against that because even the last few years, they've been talking about that they needed to do it. It has been a while. They talked about that.
So Jazel raised taxes, and Jazel raised, it wasn't Jazel that raised the water fees. Remember, people, that was voted for by the city council.
Yes.
That was voted for by the council, the subcommittee, that they were a part of that.
So they could put more money into the sewage systems.
Right. Because we are hauling our sewage out to Cranston. But people blame the mayor. You have a big, strong Linda Pereira supporter on social media.
Well,
blaming Jazel Correa for the raising of the water fees and the sewage. And you literally have a council that could have voted no to that. So why is Jazel getting the blame for that one? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's agenda. That's agenda.
Sure is.
Oh, sure. He took away the sanitation fee. Put our water and sewers through the roof. Well, Jazel fought to get rid of the sanitation fee. And there were some councils that were fighting to keep it.
The illegal tax.
Yes.
That was the sanitation fee, folks.
This is not Trottley sucking up to the mayor. This is pointing out the facts. He wanted to get rid of it. He wanted to get rid of the sanitation enterprise fund.
And that was not a surprise. He was saying it when he was councilor.
Absolutely.
City councilor.
He didn't blindside everybody.
He sat there. It's on my page. The exchange between him and Ken Pacheco, all about it.
This is fact, guys. He actually did want to get rid of that fee. Now, the water hikes, Jazel wasn't advocating for that. He wasn't in the media saying we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this.
They were talking about it last year, and you had
that was voted on.
Terry Sullivan, many meetings, many meetings said he needed more money. I mean, that was, I think, just about every single meeting I've ever. He
said it almost as much as Ken Pacheco.
Yes, he did. and he said our systems were going down. We
Yes.
needed it. He said exactly what was going to happen.
So here we are, a city that's completely broke, a city that is completely decimated economically. We're in the low parts of every list out there. You name it, we're there.
Mhm.
Poverty, drugs, death. Sorry, it's
Housing.
there. Housing. It's there. Listen, that's not me being negative. Again, I'm pointing out the facts. It's there. So you're in a situation where we have a very low median income in this city. We have a ton of poverty in this city, and we have a ton of needs in this city. You see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So, like, why do you think that it's important to tell everybody what's going on in government, where all the money is going? What's wasteful, what isn't wasteful? That's why we have to have these kind of conversations all the time. That's why I'm so glad that I can sit here with Nikki, and sometimes when he feels like it, Derek, and have these conversations. It's why if I see Josh Silva, who I don't always agree with, and Jordan Sylvia, who I don't always agree with, posting about wasteful this and wasteful that, I'm going to like their comment every once in a while, guys, because I care about that. Because we got a city that's struggling big time. We've committed ourselves too much to dependence of government.
Mhm.
We've committed ourselves too much to being hit over the head by the federal government. Look no further than our water system, our water situation there.
Mhm.
I mean, we've been paying that fee since 1997.
Oh, the other illegal tax in the city of Florida.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, like, are we being serious here? So yes, I care about how people spend their money. Like, I care about how your taxpayer money is being spent. Care about
God,
it.
if I ever become a lawyer.
Care about people getting salary increases. I care about the fact that there's contractual salary increases.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I know the unions want what they want and they get what they get, but oh my goodness.
How can they promise that without knowing what their taken is going to be?
Come on.
If they don't know what they're going to be taking in revenue, in their property taxes, and the money that we get from the state.
Hundreds of millions of dollars in the hole.
Mhm.
In the hole. And we're going to just keep on raising everything up on everybody? We have to revamp the whole process. We have to get out of the grandstanding politics. We got to get people that want to just put their head down and go to work.
Mhm.
That's it.
And people who care about
Yeah.
the taxpayers.
Just
People
throw
who
the
care
facts
about
out
the
there.
people of Fall
We
River.
can't have this. We need this. We can't have this. We can't have. We just got to get somebody in there that can just tell us straight up. And I think that's why they want to do a forensic audit. But guess what? A forensic audit is only going to do so much. A forensic audit is only going to do so much. It's not going to get us all the way there. We actually have to have a plan to respond to the problems that we've created. And an audit isn't going to get there.
Mhm.
We actually have to point the finger at problems. Everyone wants to avoid doing that. You're gonna have people who's gonna say, "Hey, we don't give enough to the school department," when 53% of our budget goes to the school department. You're gonna have people say, "We need to go buy the bags," when it's been proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that the bags have been directly affecting the increase of our recycling costs. But nobody's gonna say that. Nobody's gonna say anything. We're just gonna keep on hearing the same crap from everybody. And we're gonna keep on digging ourselves deeper and deeper and deeper in a hole.
Homeowners will leave,
Yep.
and that's what happens. And now they're freaking out, building all these single family homes to try to get people to come in. And it looks like it's working, right?
Mhm.
It looks like it's working.
Mhm.
But I'm just gonna say that it looks like it's working.
They're gonna say that we need to give more money to the school department. I know it was pointed out by two people during last year's election, on 2015's election, that we pay more per pupil than most schools, if not all schools.
Mhm.
We have a system that is sucking money directly out of your pockets and going absolutely nowhere. Let that settle in for a second.
Let it settle in. Because that's why I'm running, guys. I want to be able to point that out. I'm running to City Hall. I want to be able to at least be a reality check and point that out to everybody that we can't keep on playing this game, guys. It's going to end. It's not going to end pretty. So that's it. That's all I can say about that. Nikki's staring at me. She's like,
I'm listening.
I have the mic. You're going to drop it on the floor? No mic drop moments yet.
Yeah, I thought that's where it was going.
You were going to a mic drop moment?
Yeah.
Nah, it's frustrating to see though. It is. It's frustrating to watch when now you got these guys and they're on the radio. They're gonna, beef with each other throughout the entire
It's
election
the same
season.
Process.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah. I'm gonna have fun. Watching this. Like we have fun watching this, but the truth of the matter is, like when you really break it down, this is not fun. This is not funny. This is not a joke. Even though people treat it like it is sometimes. No, it's a bad joke. So, Wellness Center.
Any other notes?
I have notes. I have notes of the meeting, but I was gonna pull up the meeting and all that kind of stuff and break down the video. It's not as fun when Derek's not here because we have all. Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Well, that's kind of cruddy.
Yeah, that's true. What is it? No.
Did you insult me?
No, because if we said it's more fun without him, then he would have been insulted.
I know.
But it's usually a three-man show that breaking down the video thing. Because then you guys
chose that word, 3-man show.
Because you guys can all talk. You both can talk.
Well, we do, yes.
While I try to find the
and
video.
we don't even talk. We just have that. We just look at each other.
Telekinetic.
Yeah, it's cool.
Want to thank everyone for listening. This has just been an hour or so has gone by. We'll be going until 3:00 on this one. The phone number is 774-955-0533. I know you were inspired by my very positive words.
Monologue.
Yeah, I know. I know you're very inspired by that positive note. But if you have a different point of view, let me know, because I have no problem having a discussion about it. We just know it's there. We just seen it happen way too many times now, and I haven't really been heavily engaged in Fall River politics since like 2009, 2008. It's true. I was out of town. I was in the military. I wasn't here. You know what I mean?
You were out there. Huh?
Yeah. So I just got my head back in the game, and over the past like 6-7 years, and it's been discouraging to say the least. You can have a positive message, but if you're going to keep on doing the same things and contribute to the same problems that exist in the system, then we're going to go nowhere. We're going to go absolutely nowhere. You got all quiet again on me.
No, my hat is bothering me. I have a hat on. It's bothering me. So.
Yeah. I took mine off. Hey, big game today. Do you know about it?
Nope.
So there's this team that plays football in New England.
Yeah, I know we're doing really well. I just didn't realize there was a game today.
Yeah, you know what?
Things that are more
you know what?
than Tom Brady.
You know what we are doing? We are doing very well.
We are. I know that.
Yeah. The Patriots team is not doing so bad right now, and they haven't been doing
it until it gets.
I would say over the past. I'd say over the past 15 years, they've been doing pretty good.
I must stop watching it in 2 weeks.
Oh, cool. Hey, do you know what's going on in 2 weeks?
What? You even?
Huh?
Oh, you're going there. You're going. You're doing it.
In 2
You're
Thursdays.
doing it. No, you're doing it.
In 2 Thursdays from now, it's going to be my birthday, January 26th.
You don't say.
I do say.
And how old are you going to be?
37. A very handsome 37. Not at all.
Of course you are.
Hey, when we were driving in today, you said to me that you wanted to thank.
Yeah, I wanted to give a shout out to the Fall River Fire Department and the paramedics. I am sure they're from Globe Street, to be that area.
Mm-hmm.
In that area, we, not me necessarily, but a friend of mine needed some help on Wednesday. and they helped her, and they were very good to her. There
Mhm.
was probably 8 different gentlemen who helped her out, and they were so awesome. Like when I say they didn't know I was listening, I was watching, I was behind a door, and they were just super great to her. They were more, I think, you know, you go somewhere and people are like, oh, thank you. They're nice, but you could hear it in the way they were speaking with her.
Absolutely.
They were genuine with the way that they were talking to her. And it was just so sweet that I had to give them a shout out today.
Very nice.
Because they're my guys. And I don't think they get enough of credit. I mean, the only time they ever seem to get credit, I notice, is usually when there's a fire and we see it with our eyes, how hard they work.
Yes.
But like, I can tell you on Wednesday, these guys worked their tail off, and they really deserve a thank you. So that's just what they get from me. I appreciate them. Love them. Love it. Love it.
I go by either. I haven't listened to this episode besides first minute. Keep stopping. So I'm not sure what this is in reference to. What I hear is that we approve this initiative. I'd like to hear how we approve this initiative. That was Councilor Pamela Bell posting on our wall.
She asked a question.
I think she did, but she said she'd like to hear how we approve this initiative. I'm not sure. Like,
initiative, I think
yeah,
it
I
was
wanted her to
about
ask.
him. I think the conversation that we were having was about the information that was passed down. So that's what it was about Jazel saying that he gave both, what is it?
They've all stated that they've supported a branding, right?
Yes.
The branding
I'm
piece,
hoping
right.
that's where she's talking about this. She missed it.
But if she doesn't support a branding, then she can clear that up, I guess. But I'm pretty sure everyone has said, oh, I do support a branding of Fall River.
Okay, so basically that was the conversation.
But I need more information. And
then Jazel said that he gave the information.
I'm not making this up. This is
Nobody said you were making it up. The video was going in and out, so they didn't hear the whole thing. So they got bits and pieces.
I see. Okay.
Instead of hearing the whole thing continuously.
I got you.
So as to not confuse what's being said.
I got you.
And I appreciate that.
If anyone is listening still, because I think we got a few listeners here. What do we got? We got about 10.
That's awesome.
10 is not bad because I know it's a Saturday afternoon and we used to get 50 and 60. Remember when
on Thursdays and Fridays?
Remember we used to get 80? Yeah. Sometimes we weren't even saying anything. We would just be talking and staring at the number. Like, oh my God, we're at 80. And when we got 100 one time.
But I love it. I don't care if it's 2.
No, I would do this show
Yep.
no matter who listens to the show, no matter what. Phone number is 774-955-0533.
I hope on replay it doesn't skip.
It doesn't skip on a replay. It's really a matter of your connection because our connection is completely fine right now. You can see that we're fully connected right here and we're not jumping in and out or anything like that. So,
you know, that technology.
Well, the live feed might be shakier for people to listen to than the actual.
It gives me a hard time even when I'm at home and I'm listening. It gives me a hard time.
Yeah.
The last time I called in from home, it took me probably a good 10 minutes to even for you guys to even get on.
Well, part of the reason why I like to do it live is because phone calls.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the day, we took a lot of phone calls. Saturday afternoons at 1:00 in the afternoon, we're not going to get a lot of phone calls.
It's a tough time.
Right. But I wouldn't mind. I mean, I don't mind at all just recording and having do our show and then just putting the podcast out there after. Doesn't bother me either, one way or the other.
I like the live.
Yeah. And then there's a Facebook page and there's a YouTube page.
I like the live interaction that we have. Even, I don't know, people message and it's nice.
Yep. So I think that Jason Burns was also on WSAR yesterday or the day before yesterday. He was talking about the coat collection that that he does with the fire department. And I know the Angels Anonymous donated some coats to him as well. So
awesome.
I was very glad to his name came up first when we were talking about where we could put our what we could do to disperse our clothing that we collected during the Thanksgiving dinner. So Jason Burns was up there as well. He carries himself very well. I think of all the
people that I've had to have engagement with in the political scene. Like, I don't think that Jason agrees with everything I say. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure that he is friends with people that disagree with a lot of things I say as well. But he's always carried himself with a boatload.
Nothing personal.
Right. Nothing personal.
Never gets personal.
Keeps it classy. Always been a gentleman to talk to. So I'm always going to have a good
people like that.
relationship as long as that goes. So I'll always be respectful.
The first second I hear someone get personal, I'm like, it changes the way I think of them.
There's a lot of people get personal. Yeah.
Oh, I've heard it. I've definitely heard it. And I'm like, well, that doesn't really have anything to do with their job. And they're like, yeah, but isn't it shit? And I'm like, I don't really care if what they do in their own life is their own business.
I think that, like, when we're talking about personal, we're talking about like their personal lives.
Yeah.
However, like, I know that, like, you can, and we and I, all of us, pretty much all of us, can get very angry when we see a political figure doing something wrong that, like, is a waste of everyone's time or money, you know? Like, that's when we get into, like, seeing people posting memes, calling people dinks.
Oh, yeah, or going into, like, their record. Oh, you were arrested. Big deal. Like, so what? And now what? The thing that I got, because I was vocal about the trash, makes me laugh so hard, is my teeth. I had one person who tried to go there with my teeth, and I laughed. And I said, thank you for reminding me what it felt like to be in elementary school. Because it's if that is all you have, like, if that's in a debate about trash bags and how I feel about the Sanitation Enterprise Fund and all that, if the only thing you have to say is I need a dentist, okay, thank you. Like, I don't know what you want from me. You're not getting anything more than that. That's what you're getting. Thanks. Right. You know, okay, bye. So when they get personal, it's like,
nope.
Yeah. Shady.
You know, some people have gotten personal with me a little bit. Yeah.
It's so dirty when they do that. I laugh. It is.
I just ignore it for the most part, because then if I get pulled into it. Well,
way back when you had somebody too who was doing it, and I'm like, dude, they're crushing on you. Like, I'm a woman, and like, there is no way that a woman would unless they were crushing. So I ignored a lot of it, because I think that, like, if you're in the public spotlight, you're gonna have people gunning for you that are gonna try to pull you into a situation that puts you in a bad light. And then, so really what they're doing is they're setting up this little trap for you. And then they're giving you, like, especially when it's on social media, I call it screenshotable moments. Oh, yes.
You know what I mean? Like, would you vote for a person that talks like this? You know what I mean? Like, that kind of thing, you know? So I even remember somebody saying that they listened to our podcast just to find that one thing that's going to get me, like, in trouble or whatever. I don't even know.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, so I feel as though,
like, can't you just go out for lunch? Like, that's what you want to spend your time in?
No, I just feel as though, like, if I'm invoking that much whatever out of somebody, like, I mean, I it's not my intention at all.
You know what I say? It's damp. That's all I say.
What's damp? What?
I said when somebody because I said it's crushing on you. So that's why I just
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
No thanks. You can't put yourself in that position when you're trying to represent a bunch of people. You can't. I mean, you can, and maybe they'll accept you anyway, Donald Trump, for example. But I think that what really fueled the Donald Trump thing, and we'll actually talk about President Obama in a minute. The thing that fueled the Donald Trump phenomena.
The Russians, no.
Well, yeah, of course. But I think it was the fact that they were more successful in getting the public to distrust Hillary, or certain parts of the public, because she did win the popular vote, but he was able to win that electoral college, and there was just a lot of information being pushed out there on Hillary.
I don't think that's why.
What do you think?
I think he got the people who there had to have been people who weren't voting, or he got people to swap, because she got the majority of popular vote. Okay, that's not debatable. She did. So when you say, oh, why did people vote for Donald. I think because Hillary was the establishment. And remember, I had said that she's old, even though she's a woman, she's old politics in the country.
Right.
She's Clinton. It's the same no matter what. If that's why nobody wanted Bush.
Right.
Look, and I thought he was going to be a front runner. Look how wrong I was.
Right.
I definitely thought he was going to be up there, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So to me, they didn't speak. They didn't speak to Democrats necessarily, and they didn't really speak to Republicans. They spoke to the people who didn't want to be neither.
And I think that's the reason why Bernie Sanders also is popular, because he, even though he's like completely brought the term socialism to American politics more than anybody has ever had, he also represented the rogue politicians and the different from the norm politician.
I
And
still say he's a Trojan horse. He still scares the ever living life out of me.
you talking about Bernie?
Trump.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not. No,
Bernie is
Absolutely
a
not.
little bit too with some of
The
way
socialism
he was
piece,
saying.
right,
Like, it's one extreme. They were both.
They were
just
both
the same
extremes.
thing, just the opposite.
they were
ends
both
of the spectrum.
extremes. They were both extremes, but they had common ground.
Yeah.
And that's why you saw Donald Trump when Hillary didn't pick Bernie to be on the ticket.
Yeah.
Donald Trump was like, "Hey, door's open, brother.
Yeah.
Like, come on in. You know, we can push this Mike Pence guy out of the way." Like, you know what I mean? Because they did share that common ground. It is what it is. Barack Obama. He's gone. He's no longer with us as the president of the United States.
No, he's got a few days.
Nah, it's over. It's over. How do you feel about that? You liked Barack Obama, did you?
There's parts I'm a fence walker, man. I'm a habitual fence
Then
walker.
walk
There's
it.
parts of it that I like, and there's parts of it that I don't.
Give it to me.
So my insides are screaming with joy at the possibility of Obamacare being knocked out.
Because that was a problem for you.
It was a problem.
It directly affected you.
And it did. And a lot of people don't realize, like they automatically assume that everybody received health insurance. Now, I fell into the category where I made too much to get any help, but don't make enough to afford it myself after paying the rest of my bills.
Right.
So I'm left in that arena. And the thing that sucked in, the fact that I don't have health insurance doesn't even bother me.
Yeah.
The part that bothers me is the fine that I get every damn year when we file our taxes. That's the part of it that pisses me off.
Right.
So since 2009,
Yep.
Actually it was Romney. As soon as Romney did the Romney Care in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
as soon as our insurance changed, I was being fined, but it wasn't that bad. When Barack put in the Affordable Care Act,
Mhm.
that pushed us right out. So
Yeah.
I haven't had insurance
Yep.
in the whole time. So there is a part of me that's like, yes, now we won't have to pay that fine every year, you know? But then there are other things that scare the hell out of me, like you don't belong anywhere telling me what I should do with my body.
Right.
And we know that's a big issue, you know, a woman's rights. That's a big issue with me. So that for that reason, I'm sad to see him go.
Mhm.
I'm more sad to see Trump come in. You know, Barack did his 8 years. So again, I respect the office. It's time for him to go.
Mm-hmm.
But there are parts that I'll miss.
I
I love him and Michelle as a couple. I think they were a great first couple. I think it was great for people to see an African American be president. I'm sorry. I'm glad I was around for that.
carried himself pretty well for the most part.
Yep.
I think that as a person, I probably wouldn't have. I think that like if I knew Barack Obama personally, I think that I would probably like him more than I would say most other presidents that I've seen come down the line. I don't know. I think that he may have had good intentions. I don't know. I don't think he was an evil person. I don't think he hated America. I don't think he was a Muslim. I don't think that, you know, all that crazy stuff that people brought up. I just didn't think that was true. I did feel as though, you know, policy-wise, he came from the liberal side. He came from the Democratic side. And with that came policy that I just definitely was not on par with. Some of it. Well, pretty much most of it. I didn't agree with the political philosophy that he brought to the table. So therefore, his programs that he tried to push forward, I very likely wasn't going to be in support of. Common Core, not in support of.
Right.
Right. You see what I'm saying? But way before Barack Obama did I not agree with any educational program that required federalized dollars. to me, school has always been more effective when it's on a local level. It's just in my opinion. So No Child Left Behind was George Bush's program. Didn't support that either. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if it's a liberal or a conservative. It was more about philosophy.
The other part of it is what works during a president's term may not work 40 years later.
True.
That's the other part of it.
Dynamics change.
Yes, everything changes. So if we're not, I think we spend our politicians spend too much time fighting each other, so that by the time they're willing to sit down and talk, it's this big, we're in a big mess.
Yes.
Everything turns into such a big mess.
Barack Obama, his philosophy was that the government had the answers to everything. I had a person post on my wall when I posted about Barack Obama, saying farewell and what I agreed with and what I liked and what I didn't like about him. But someone posted on the wall and said he just ignored all these kids dying, all these young black people dying in Chicago, all these gangs and things like that. He ignored it. He turned his back on it. He turned his back on all that, and he's not doing anything to help them. And I disagreed with that, not because someone else jumped on and said, "Hey, you're a racist for saying such a thing." I felt as though Barack, it comes down again to his political philosophy and what he thinks he's doing to help these communities. Number one thing that he pushed when it came to this topic is gun laws. He wanted stricter gun laws.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted he just felt that the government had the answer to solving this problem of gun violence through gun laws, when it just hasn't been proven to work in America. Maybe you can look at Australia and some other countries if you do the digging, but it hasn't worked here. It definitely hasn't worked in Illinois. And from what I've read, Illinois is the most strict gun law state in the country. And yet it has all this violence going on in Chicago. So I think that he didn't neglect. I just think his methods were wrong. It's like when I work with a parent, if a parent has like severe behavior problems and the parent is struggling to figure out how to help, they're not neglecting that child. Mm-hmm. They just don't know the right techniques to get involved and to do it the right way. So they need assistance and they need help. With Barack Obama, he recognized that there was a problem. He tried to figure out a way to help it, but his method was completely off. Completely off. So I just feel like if you're a Republican, you're a conservative, and you're whatever you are, and you hate Barack Obama, and you're the first person to say that, you hate him and you're glad he's gone out of the country, or gone out of the White House, then you're going to just easily jump to that conclusion that there's a bunch of killing in Chicago and Barack Obama did nothing.
I need to bring up Chicago because you brought it up. The Department of Justice did an investigation. They started I think the investigation was 13 months on the police department in Chicago. And they found that the Chicago Police Department was actually shooting at people who are fleeing. So they weren't even doing what they were supposed to do. They were actually shooting. If somebody turned around and ran, they took their gun out, they shot them. Uh-huh. They pulled over people of color. And this is all proven within the report. So you're going to have to look at, you're going to have to find the report. Yeah, I just read it yesterday that the DOJ came out.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I was floored that they even released the information. Usually we don't hear about that. The investigations come out and there's nothing.
If we had our third co-host here while we're doing the show, he would be tip-tapping on the keyboards right now. Yeah. And then we'd have a topic to talk about by 2:45.
The other thing that it was that when they did internal investigations on a police officer, when there was a complaint against a police officer and they did an internal investigation, the other police officers had a code. They actually had a code, don't say a word. So nobody would rat. They would basically stick up for them and say, no, that didn't happen.
Do you feel as though then the gun violence in Chicago is not just a one race, one way street?
I think that there are people who feel like they are fighting for their lives. And whether that's police officers or regular civilians.
Yep.
Okay. I think there are people who believe they're fighting for their lives.
Yep.
And I think that's the problem, is our media puts so much on the fact that black people are violent
Right.
and black people are dangerous
Right.
and they want to kill police officers
Yeah.
and all this.
Yeah.
So that automatically, when you have maybe, and I'm not saying this is the case, this is just my opinion,
Yeah.
that when an officer shows up, he's already on high alert. He's already a little nervous from everything that he's heard. He keeps hearing it. He keeps hearing it. He keeps hearing it. He keeps hearing it. That's just what happens.
Yeah.
And that's not every case, but I think that's a majority. I don't think that every officer who shoots somebody or every civilian who shoots an officer is meaning to hurt the other person.
Yeah.
I think that it's fear-based.
Hmm.
And that's just what happens. Every time I see it, it makes me cringe when I hear an officer shoots somebody, because all I can think of is, you know, when you always hear of these officers, they're most of the time they're good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to wonder, how were they feeling? What were they thinking at that time that they felt that they had to shoot somebody? I sit here and I say, we were looking for terrorists in Boston who bombed during the marathon, right? Bullets everywhere, and that guy wasn't shot. They weren't killed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of them ended up being, but look what it took to get that far.
Mm.
How is it that we have so many dying right off the streets just like that?
Well, we're in a situation too where gangs are out there. You know, there was a school of thought back in the day that, you know, these gangs, that they didn't exist everywhere. They're only in certain major parts of the country, like you know, Chicago, LA. But there's gangs everywhere. Everywhere. And I think one of the big issues that happens with gangs is they have a very, very, very easy but yet complicated to solve recruiting process. They recruit kids, 10, 9, 8 years old. They recruit them. They get them out of broken homes every once in a while. They'll pull kids that you don't very
Exactly how pimps get
right.
frosted. That's
So it's the broken home and the poverty piece and all that. That's really where the groundwork for all these problems are occurring in these social areas. Is that broken home, no guidance, no leadership, nothing else there. Hey, they're accepting me.
no
Next
jobs,
thing you know,
nobody cares.
no jobs. Right. Right. So you have this perfect storm for gangs to build out of this like cultivated land.
We did it. Okay, just me, myself, and I living in the city of Fall River, in the projects of Fall River.
Posse.
Right? We got our group together, and we didn't know what the hell a posse was or a group was, but we did it anyway. So it's like those are the kinds of things that it starts. But why did we do it?
Crazy.
Because we just wanted to hang out. We were a group, and we wanted to put a name on our group. It's one neighborhood against another neighborhood against another neighborhood. Why is everybody fighting?
A posse. So that's
Yep.
what we got going
LHP.
on. Left hand. Right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. How did I know that? I can't remember. I remember
If
that.
Jordan's listening, he's dying.
I can't believe I remember that. That is crazy.
There was LHP, there was SHP, which was like Sunset Hill Posse. This is going back to like the late 80s, early 90s.
But when
folks.
it gets to the violent piece, right? Because it could just be a bunch of kids hanging out,
Right.
doing a whole bunch of nothing. Worst thing you're doing is maybe trying out some cigarettes.
Well, but that's
Right.
does it start with a fight, neighborhood to
Right.
neighborhood?
Yeah.
A fight, territory. Why? Okay, so why are they selling drugs? If they're
That's-
selling drugs,
that's
are they
usually-
selling drugs to feed their families?
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
That's where it comes into it, is when the drug dealing and then the gun running,
Prostitution.
wherever the most money can be
Yeah.
made, that's where they're going to end up falling into. And it's like, look, I've already gone this far. I might as well just do this. The next thing you know, and now it's enhanced even more after the 90s. You go into the 2000s, because now you can get a lot of this stuff done online.
Mhm.
So you can actually do all your transactions through the internet, but still own your corners, still have your kids out on the street, still have your kids do this. It's really a bad breeding ground. And I think that the way that, I'm not saying there's an easy answer, because again, I said
Everybody take care of their own home and your own neighborhood.
your own home, your own neighborhood, and your own kids. Be responsible enough to make sure that your kids are being taken care of when they're going out there and playing around with their friends, that they're not getting recruited and
when
pulled
they're
into
home
these
alone and
things.
sitting at their computer.
Yeah.
Because
That's a big part of it too.
I mean, where you're getting that's where
It's not just
comes from.
It's not just poor families either. I don't, because there are many families where both parents are going out to work, and it's simply a matter of those kids aren't getting enough of attention.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody is loving that kid because they're too busy going out to work to feed the kid.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves them alone. They need to do something with their time. What happens?
Yeah.
They find people like them, people who are alone.
Yep. Yeah.
But
the Barack Obama strict gun laws thing, that to me is even that doesn't address that part. And I think that you're going to really get more productivity out of helping not solve the problem, but at least helping to treat the symptom of the gang violence and everything by getting involved in that process, getting more involved in that process. And I'm sure that Barack could sit here right now with us and sit with us and show us all the things that he's done, all the programs he's initiated to try to do that. But we're not measuring its effectiveness. That's not a call for the show. We're not measuring its effectiveness. Well, hopefully they leave a voicemail. I have my car at Monroe, so I know that's what that is. Oh. So, and fortunately, that's really great timing because in 20 minutes.
Perfect timing.
But yeah, I mean, the gun law is like getting strict on that is not addressing that part. And I'm sure he can come up with all these initiatives and show us all these things. But if we're really looking at the death toll, if we're looking at the level of gun violence, I appreciate the fact that maybe he feels he's done things to help. Yeah. I do. I'm not, that's not wordplay. I really do sincerely appreciate that. However, that hasn't been working to the point. Voicemail. That hasn't been the point. That hasn't worked to the point where we've seen significant changes. Mm-hmm. And there are right-wing websites that have pointed out where Barack Obama pays more attention to a black child getting hurt, killed, or whatever over a white child getting hurt, killed, or whatever. And they'll do it. They'll post that, and then we'll have a perpetual, oh my gosh, Barack doesn't care about this. And all that kind of stuff.
Already. It just is. I see that, and I don't see it as a black or a white kid. I just see it as a kid.
Did you see that child that got beat up and bullied by? He was a white kid who had mental disabilities. Yes. And I
didn't watch it.
Right. Well, the narrative after that was, oh, this is a Black Lives Matter thing. These are Black Lives Matter kids. They weren't. They were just regular kids that were just a bunch of punks.
And even if they were 4 kids who stuck up for Black Lives Matter, even if they were, it still doesn't take away from the entire group. It was 4 of the people within that group who chose those actions.
It's just like if I go to another country and beat up another person, I'm not representing the entire country of the United States. Right. I get that. Even if I was in the military and I did that, I'm still not representing the entire United States when I do something that's stupid. Although, again, people can take it that way. Perception. It's always a part of the game. So, the narrative there was that, oh, the media jumped all over this one when the white child was getting beat up by these people. And then you look at the media, where was the media when a white person went into a black church and stopped randomly killing everybody in there, killed I think 7 people or something like that.
That to me is so disgusting. Yeah. I can't even fathom because of the words that still come out of that kid's mouth today.
Well, the way I looked at it is the way I looked at it is bad is bad. I told people that bad is bad. I felt like that child who got bullied, that was a disgusting act. That was 4 ignorant people that simply just did not deserve the oxygen they breathed.
Their skin color did not matter. Whether they were white, black, purple, orange.
I was so disgusted. And that kid was wearing a Trump t-shirt, I think, or a hat, something like that. And I think that's the reason what sparked them to jump on him, right?
I do have to say this. There's one part of me that thinks this is fake.
Because of that?
There's just one part of me that thinks that whole thing is fake.
Because he had the Trump shirt on?
No, it has nothing to do with Trump.
Why?
I don't know why.
Oh, so
There's absolutely no reason why. I just
Oh.
get that feeling. I think
Gotcha.
maybe it's just because there is so much fake news out there.
I got you.
There's just something about it.
I got you.
The kid was, I guess, friends
Mhm.
with the other four.
Yes.
So it's just like I've sat there and I've wondered, are they doing this to try to get some kind of attention? But then I'm like, they all got arrested. Would they still continue to do it? So like, I don't know. But then I'm like, did they really get arrested, or is that a fake story too?
Those 4 people, bottom line, I mean, we're going to assume it's a true story. And they obviously, there's so many different scenarios as to why they grew up a certain kind of way, to act a certain kind of way, to do that kind of thing, right? Fine. This person who went into the church and killed a bunch of people with a gun, that is not comparable on any way, shape, or form. That's not bullying.
No, he's got mental issues.
Right. That's not a bad person doing a bad thing. That's a mentally
And
ill.
I'm actually going to take that back.
Yeah.
I'm taking that back because I can't say that he was mentally ill. There are people who are really mentally ill.
Yeah.
I can't. He might have just been an asshole.
Psychotic.
Maybe he's just an asshole.
Well, the way that he was like presenting. And,
A race. Maybe he was just a racist.
yeah, I mean, definitely racial pieces were involved in that, but there was not all the lights were on in that process. They weren't. And it's a whole different narrative. And the problem is that did get a lot of press. That was in the media.
Yeah.
That was on the news. Why are we being so selective just to try to make our racial agenda like at the forefront? No, I remember
It's
that.
always been like that.
Yes.
Since TV, it's always been like that. That's how it's been portrayed.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
In
It's the way it's been.
2016 presented us again, like more than anything that I noticed, everything I could see was the news, the fake news, the news. Everyone to try to support their agenda was posting whatever news article was out there that they could get their hands on. Whether it was true or not, didn't matter. It just supported their position. I can't believe Barack Obama is bringing the Quran.
Oh, how many times I said to somebody, is this story a true story?
Yeah.
That's why I had to get offline. It was just to the point where I was saying it constantly. There was so much being posted that it was like, you know what? I can't even deal.
Yeah. It was a sad situation.
And people believe in it. Like people that I think are smart, people believe in certain things. It's like
it was a sad situation. I couldn't believe it was going on. I mean, I think that now that finally people are actually making an effort to say on a national scale, we need to stop this.
Yeah, but that's
it's sad that it got to that point, right?
When they say we need to stop that, it's a red flag to me because I say, okay, well, that's freedom of the press. Okay, this is freedom of speech, right?
Yeah.
And it's freedom of the press.
I'm not saying to stop posting it. What I'm saying is to stop believing it.
But then when you have even respectable media outlets now who are at a point where they're unsure of whether a story is true or not. Think about, we have the United States government coming forward and saying they have this information about Russia, and the president-elect is saying, nah, not true. Like, what the hell? So when you set that doubt already in motion, right? When you set that doubt already in motion.
Yes.
He's telling us not to believe anything that comes out of his mouth. How can I trust? He's supposed to be the leader of all of these people. So if he doesn't trust them, how are we supposed to trust them?
Trust in Trump. That's all you're supposed to do.
I can't.
That's what he's telling you to do.
I just can't.
He's literally telling you to ignore the agency that your tax money is paying for to investigate on these things.
More than one.
And believe me, the guy that doesn't pay taxes.
The actor.
The guy that doesn't pay taxes. Right?
The actor.
Yes, the actor. The celebrity that doesn't pay taxes. Believe me, instead of the agency that's dedicated to you. And guess what? Neither one of them sounds appealing.
No.
It's just like the presidency. Neither one of them sounds appealing. So This is just a big one, one big slap in the face that our government's too big. Our government's too big. We've invested too much into it. We've given it too much responsibility over our lives. And somewhere along the way, we're going to have to take that power back. I hate to
Do you
sound
think
like
this is going?
Rage Against the Machine, but it's true. We do need to kind of like really get our priorities straight as to what our lives are going to be like in the situation.
Do you think this
Nikki.
presidency is going to change the shape of the United States? You go back in history, right? You go through history. The United States wasn't always the United States.
Right.
Italy wasn't always Italy, you know? So Earth is millions and millions of years old.
Mhm.
Things have changed. Is this just the next change?
I'm sure.
Is this when
So is this the turning point?
is this when the United States maybe doesn't stay the United States?
I think it'll stay the United
Or
States.
maybe it stays the United States, but it gets smaller.
I think it'll stay the United States. I do feel it'll stay the United States. You know what I?
You understand what I'm saying,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
Like,
Yeah. You know what I feel? I feel as though you see the pattern develop of. We had George Bush, right? And he was an extreme version of whatever he was, right? And so then they jumped over to Barack Obama, who was a strong
Yeah.
contrast to him, although he did maintain a lot of the foreign policy that George Bush did, which Bush's foreign policy was the reason why he was such a disaster for the most part. Then now we jumped into a complete extreme opposite of Barack Obama, Donald Trump. The people who support Donald Trump viewed Barack Obama as weak, viewed America as secondary or maybe submissive to China and other Russia and other countries out there. So Make America Great Again was a way to say make America strong again, make America feared again, which is I really do believe that that's exactly what Trump was successful in
right.
conveying to his supporters.
That's what makes me ask, do you think that that's what's going to change the shape of the United States?
We're gonna find
Will
out.
he be so brazen to try to start a war with somebody else? Or will he do or say something that will make people want to start a war with us?
I think his idea is that he wants to invest even more money into the military, which we're already at somewhere around $600 to $700 billion.
He wants to invest more in our prisons,
right?
in our police,
law and order, law and order.
Yeah.
See, it was funny because when he and Hillary were in a debate, and the question was posed, "What will you do to bring people together with all this racial tension and violence that's going on right now? What is your plan?" And I believe that Donald Trump stated something to the tune of, it didn't take him long to connect the dots of law and order and stop and frisk.
Yeah.
That is his way of handling that issue. So yeah, I think there's going to be some problems if he doesn't figure that. That's obviously.
Well, even Homeland Security, he's talking about beefing up the Homeland Security prisons, like where they keep
your boy Hodgson.
Documented. Oh, dude,
your boy Hodgson.
I wish he would just go away, because if he's serious, that I would be fighting that, right?
Sheriff Hodgson out there, he wants to initiate a program where prisoners will be able to help build the wall that Donald Trump wants to initiate between America and Mexico. So I'm concerned about it, because I feel as though he's clearly a supporter of Donald Trump. He's clearly a supporter of the wall.
Because it puts more money into what he wants to do. He's been trying to get more money for the prisons since he became sheriff.
So he clearly supports Donald Trump, and I worry if we're crossing a line of someone using their authority, their position of authority, to help carry out political agendas.
Yes.
So that's where,
not a surprise,
right? I mean, obviously, but I'm just saying I want to kind of get that official statement out there that is really a very, very strong universal concern that we could all have. You know what I mean? Because whether or not you support Donald Trump, whether or not you support the wall, that's going to be irrelevant to the fact of, do you really want a person who's in a position of authority to start utilizing human resources people, cheap labor, to go,
AKA slavery.
to go and help carry out a political agenda.
Yeah.
That to me is something that you really want to ask yourself that question again, whether or not you support Trump, whether or not you support the wall, all that good
Well,
stuff.
I don't support slavery. I don't support
You don't?
labor. Nope.
I'm gonna have to look it over, see what, do some research first.
I told you to say you're against it.
Wow,
I just
hey, you got the
laugh.
city talk snort laugh just
It
now,
just
guys.
makes me laugh. It really
You
does.
just got the
was-
city talk snort laugh.
It doesn't happen often. So when that happens, I'm really laughing.
Congratulations, everybody. No,
It's not one of those fake laughs.
I don't think there's anything coming up over the next. There's Martin Luther King, obviously Martin Luther King weekend here, so everyone's gonna get their Mondays off, which is nice. How'd you get around the
Paid
snow?
holiday.
How'd you do with the snow?
I didn't have to get around.
You just hung out in the house?
Yeah.
Decked the halls?
I knew it
with
was
balls and
coming.
flowers?
If you watch the news, they
Yeah.
have this handy thing called the weather report.
Hey, do you remember the last snowstorm where we got all those inches?
Yes.
Do you remember what date that was?
Oh my gosh.
That was January 26th, my birthday. Well,
You know what's going to happen on
Yeah.
January
What-
26th? You're going to disappear.
am I now? Is that a threat? You just threaten me with all the 10 people that are listening to the show? Got 10 witnesses here.
Do we have more than that?
Let's find out. Nine. It was pretty consistent throughout the whole show. It's nice. It's pretty good. Yeah. Well, I think that we're going to be pretty consistent with our shows now, right? Unless anything.
If something happens, it happens.
I know that
It's just
Derek's
the way
not
it
gonna.
works.
Derek's not gonna be with us until like 2019. I think. I'm not sure.
What?
Nah, he said he's gonna miss a few weeks because he's got the pool tournament and all that good
God,
stuff.
why does he got to be so busy? Like that, huh?
I believe there's going to be a bowling event that Angels Anonymous is going to get into.
Really?
Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Let's see.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. If anyone else, let me see. If anyone else wants to get involved in that, it's going to be 70s bowling.
70s bowling.
Yeah, there's a flyer. It's not the Angels event. It's not Angels event.
Did
It's
he
Operation.
dress up?
It's Operation Warm and
Chip Strong.
and Chip Strong.
There you go.
Mustachio Bascio
Yeah.
presents
That's awesome.
70s bowling night. Party starts at 7 p.m. Saturday, January 21st. 5 days behind my birthday at Somerset Lanes. $150 per team. 6 bowlers and guests include 2 hours of bowling. $10 donation for spectators. Prize for best theme and score costume. Oh my goodness, are we gonna have to do all that? I'm gonna have to wear
I
an
love
afro.
that kind of stuff.
I'm gonna have to wear it. I can grow
I got a
goatee.
wig an afro wig.
I can grow a goatee till then, and then I can wear an afro wig. Yeah.
See you do that, and you'll remind me of Scooby Doo. There was a scene in Scooby Doo where he dressed up in the goatee.
I don't
and-
think I can do anything more than that though. I'm not. I don't have any weird flower shirts or anything like that. Maybe I can find something in there. I don't know. We'll find something. That'd be funny if I did find
Call
something.
mom. She's got to have something up in that closet.
Yeah, but you're talking about something that might fit on my arm.
Well, I'm not saying of her clothing. You're gonna walk around wearing her clothing. Great. Oh man, the photos.
Yeah,
That
right.
would be awesome.
2017 City Council candidate Trot Lee. Representing everybody. Commercials. Oh my goodness, the WSAR commercials that are going to come through. Oh.
Oh, Linda will just reuse the one she had from last year. We still talk about it.
Bum, 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 bum.
And Ponty.
Yeah, it's all going to be on full display very, very soon.
Can we make one for you?
care.
Can we,
I care about this
we can
city.
make one for you and play it on the show.
I care about this
Okay.
city. Dun, 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 the violin music and vote for me.
We have to get you a
'Cause
houndstooth sweater.
I truly believe in the
with
future
leather
of
elbow
Fall
patches,
River. I
sunglasses,
truly believe
shoulder pads.
that together we can make it happen. Like that's all you're gonna hear. It's gonna be crazy.
You're gonna do it that way.
We,
Yes.
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 Oh,
Together
yes.
we can move Fall River forward. That saying pisses me off too. The move forward, forward.
Well, actually,
Moving
I'm
forward.
going to tell you this right now. That's
Moving
Jazel's
forward.
thing, man.
We're moving the city forward.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you something.
Hey.
Who do I sound?
Hey,
I'm gonna-
caller.
let me tell you something.
Gotta hold you there.
That is Jazel's thing, man. That is Jazel's thing. He really
Moving
says,
forward.
I'm moving forward. You hear a lot of people say that.
I take 2 steps forward. I take 2 steps back.
When you're moving a city forward, right? You want to make sure that you look backwards
I got our slogan.
in order to make sure
I got it.
we're not doing the same mistakes over and over and over again. Yes.
Fall River.
Yes.
Back to the future.
Really?
That's what I say.
Okay.
Well, we can use sayings that other people have used.
All right. I'm not supporting that one either. I ain't giving you $30,000 for that.
I made up one for Henry Lord when I was in Henry Lord.
Yeah.
And they used it. It was when they were trying to, Nancy Reagan came in, was like, everybody's got to be
yeah.
drug free. It was
Yeah.
that whole,
Just say no was
that
Nancy
just
Reagan.
say no.
That was
We
Nancy
had
Reagan.
so many people from the Celtics come and tell us not to do drugs
Larry Bird.
before they passed.
When Len Bias died of drugs.
I'm
right?
serious.
Yeah.
We had a few of them come in.
Yep.
But it was, we're proud to be drug free.
That's you?
Yeah.
Congratulations. I like that one.
Yep. I was in like 7th grade.
That's a great quote. It rhymed.
I made posters.
It made sense.
I made little posters with bees on them.
It rhymed and it made sense.
Yeah,
So
I was in 7th grade, so
you nailed it.
that's what you got.
You hit your peak at 7th grade. What, like, how's it been since 8th grade all the way down now?
Been awesome. I moved forward.
All right, guys. It's the
moved
final.
Nikki forward.
It moved you forward?
Mhm.
Great. It's been real. I actually had a really great
I
time
picked up
doing
the
this
can
one.
down the road after I kicked it.
Don't kick the can
I said
down
I
the road.
picked it up after I kicked
You
it.
pick it up and you recycle it.
I don't recycle it because recycling costs more than just to throw it in the trash.
I really don't like. I don't even. The people are like, oh, you got to do this. You got to do
I
that.
actually give my cans to Arthur.
You got to do what you feel comfortable doing.
Arthur comes around my neighborhood and collects cans.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Pick up the can and recycle it. All right.
Arthur does for me.
Great. I will talk to you guys later. We will be back here next week, guaranteed, unless it snows out the yin yang.
Don't
all
make
over.
guarantees. You know how people in this city are.
You know what?
Guaranteed it.
I'll guarantee it. I'll guarantee it. And if it snows, I'll just be in the apartment by myself doing the show. That's it.
Do it in the bubble bath. You fill up a bubble bath and do the show.
Hey, I don't know what you keep on getting all this, but so we want to make a correction, or at least acknowledge a correction. Someone said that it made them cringe when you hear someone say Councilor LeBeau instead of La Liberty LeBeau. So if I disrespected Pam in any way, I didn't mean to do that. So, and on that note,
Is it disrespectful if we say Pam?
I don't
I
think
don't
so.
think so.
Pam was like,
I
that
don't
was
think being so formal with them,
well, Pam was in huge letters on most of her signs.
which was, I liked the signs.
Her signs were great.
Yeah, they were.
I couldn't do that sign. I couldn't
Love
pull that
that.
sign off.
You could.
Yeah.
You know what they say, real men wear pink.
Yeah, who's they? All right. Everybody take care. Have a great she's steady laughing over there. Have a great one. And we will be back next week. Thank you very, 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 very much for listening. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.